Should you solo travel to Sao Vicente, Cape Verde? After traveling to 5 out of the 11 islands in Cape Verde, here's what I have to say about Sao Vicente. Let's do the good first. Number 1, it's safe. As a 4'11" black girl who solo travels, safety is really important to me, and I've experienced the same thing on all 5 islands that I've been to. Super safe. I've done some reckless things like walk the streets at 2 a.m, which I don't recommend, and I've left some of my valuables in very, very reckless places, and it has been safe. Number 2, you can take a ferry to Santo Antão, which is a neighbouring island. It's going to cost you around about £20, which is $25 or around about 2,500 escudo. You can do a day trip or you can spend some time there. It is a completely different landscape and is worth the time. Number 3, the weather is always great, with highs of around about 32 degrees Celsius and lows, especially in the evening, coming down to around about 21 to 20 degrees Celsius. There's never a point in which you're going to feel cold. Even when it is quote-unquote rainy season, it's still pretty warm. Number 4, the beaches. Well, the beach. There's one main beach which is in Mindelo, which is the capital city of Sao Vicente. If you do get a chance to rent a car or do a tour, you can check out the other beaches, but the main beach is super clean. The water is amazing and it's very central, so there's access to loads of food, and depending on where you're staying, it could be pretty close to that too. I absolutely fell in love with the water. It's just right. Okay, it's just right. Now let's get into the things that I didn't enjoy as much about Sao Vicente. Number 1, the food. Despite being on the west coast of Africa, Cape Verde doesn't actually have that many variations and variety with regards to fruit and veg as you would think an island would. The fish is super fresh, and if you're going to dine out during your stay, there are some amazing dishes out there. But if you decide, like me, to stay a little bit longer, or you're expecting to taste some tropical island fruits and get your vitamins up, it's just not that place. There is some great papaya though. My second and final point is the cost of where you're going to stay. And I want to add as well that the cost of food, which is point number 1, isn't as cheap as you would expect it to be the moment you're outside of a Western, quote, I'm using my fingers here, Western country. On average, I was spending around about £250 to £300 a week for accommodation, which was apartments. As you can see in the videos, I stayed in apartments. Some might say that's a lot. Some might say that's not enough. Well, I mean, it's cheap. For me personally, I was willing to pay those prices for the spaces that I got. I thought it was pretty worth it, considering it's not that cheap, as well as the food not being that cheap. I'm coming from the UK, so it was cheap in comparison. I would definitely visit again. I would definitely stay in the places that I did stay again. Please do let me know if there's anything you'd like me to dive in deeper with, any comments and you'd like me to make on anything in particular with regards to Sao Vicente. I highly recommend, if you are solo traveling, I recommend Cape Verde as a place that you solo travel to if it's your first trip by yourself. In general, I love this place. That is all from me. If you have made it to the end, I thank you all the more for being here. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video.